Imagine standing on a battlefield. 800 yards away, an enemy officer stands upright, completely exposed, because he believes he is untouchable. You can barely make out his face with the naked eye. Military doctrine says a shot at that distance is impossible. Commanders insist it isn't worth trying. But one man in England believed it was, and when he proved it, the rules of war quietly changed forever. This is the story of a man whose obsession with precision created the first true sniper rifle, and made it possible for a single unseen soldier to do what entire battalions could not. If you want to understand how one bullet shifted warfare from mass to precision, stay with me until the end.
You do not aim at a man you cannot see. For centuries, this is the unbreakable rule of war. Armies fight in blocks. Muskets fire in clouds. Accuracy is accidental. Victory comes from volume, discipline, and the will to advance into smoke and noise. Military doctrine insists on it. Generals trust it. Empires are built on it. A soldier's job is not to pick a single target. His job is to load fast, fire forward, and move when ordered. Precision is irrelevant. Individual skill is dangerous. If men begin to think for themselves, formations break, control dissolves, so weapons are built to match this belief. Smoothbore muskets, effective range, 80 yards. Real accuracy, far less. You aim at the enemy line, not a man. You pull the trigger and hope. And when rifles appear, early, crude, slow, they are dismissed. Too delicate, too slow to reload, too individual. Riflemen are treated as curiosities, hunters playing soldier. European high command agrees on one truth. War is not won by a single bullet. But in the middle of the 19th century, in an age of steam engines and iron ships, one man becomes obsessed with a heretical idea. What if war could be decided by precision? What if a single soldier, unseen, could reach farther than an entire firing line? In 1857, that rule is tested, and the battlefield will never be the same. You live in an age of transition. It is the mid-1800s. Empires stretch across continents. Britain rules the seas. France marches with confidence. Russia believes in mass and endurance. But technology is moving faster than doctrine. Railways cut through countryside. Factories hum day and night. Steel replaces iron. Measurement becomes science, not approximation. Yet the battlefield remains strangely primitive. Infantry still wear bright uniforms. Officers still stand upright, swords visible. Battles are fought in daylight at predictable distances, by men who can see one another clearly. The average soldier carries a smoothbore musket weighing nearly 10 pounds. He bites cartridges. He rams powder and ball. He fires blindly into smoke. After 3 shots, his barrel fouls. After 10, accuracy is gone entirely. And still, generals believe this is enough. Then comes the Crimean War. Britain, France, and the Ottoman Empire face Russia across frozen ground and stone fortifications. At Sevastopol, Russian engineers dig in. They build earthworks, trenches, and gun pits. The battlefield stretches, lines thin. Engagements happen at distances muskets cannot reach. Suddenly, range matters. And in Britain, far from the mud and blood, one man has spent decades preparing for this moment, without knowing it. You meet Joseph Whitworth in Manchester. He is not a soldier. He is not loud. He is not political. He is precise. Born in 1803, Whitworth grows up surrounded by machines. He apprentices in textile mills, then moves into mechanical engineering. Where others accept tolerance, close enough, Whitworth cannot. He measures, he remeasures, he invents tools capable of measuring to 1/1,000,000th of an inch. Think about that. In an age where most craftsmen work by eye and feel, Whitworth insists on mathematical perfection. He standardizes screw threads. He creates flat reference surfaces so precise they cling together by air pressure alone. Engineers across Britain begin to copy his methods. And slowly, His attention turns to weapons. Whitworth looks at rifles and sees chaos. Irregular barrels, inconsistent grooves, bullets that barely fit. So he redesigns everything. He creates a hexagonal bore, 6 flat surfaces spiraling down the barrel. Instead of forcing a round ball into rifling, he designs a hexagonal bullet that perfectly matches the barrel's shape. The bullet does not rattle. It does not deform. It spins cleanly. Whitworth tests relentlessly. At 500 yards, his rifle hits targets others cannot even see. At 800 yards, it still groups shots tightly. At 1,000 yards, it remains lethal. No military doctrine accounts for this. And in 1857, the British War Office agrees, reluctantly, to test Whitworth's rifle against the standard Enfield. What happens next terrifies them. The tests are public. Officers watch through telescopes. At 500 yards, the Enfield struggles. Shots scatter. Hits are inconsistent. Whitworth's rifle punches tight clusters into the target. At 800 yards, Enfields miss entirely. Whitworth keeps hitting. The numbers speak clearly. His rifle is 3 times as accurate. Its effective range is doubled, sometimes tripled. Now the choice appears. Adopt this rifle, and you change war itself. You empower individuals. You create soldiers who can kill officers, gunners, engineers from distances once considered safe. You undermine centuries of formation warfare, or you reject it and preserve control. The British Army hesitates. They compromise. Whitworth rifles will not be standard issue. Instead, a few are purchased, quietly, issued selectively, and then the rifles cross the sea. They arrive in Crimea, and for the first time in history, a man lies prone, unseen, aiming not at a formation, but at a single life. You lie still. The ground is cold. Your cheek presses against wood and steel. The Whitworth rifle weighs nearly 20 pounds. It is long, heavy, unforgiving, but it is precise. You peer through a telescopic sight, another heresy. Glass magnifies the enemy trench nearly 800 yards away. You see faces, not shapes, not uniforms, men. Russian artillery officers move behind the parapet. They believe themselves safe. No musket can reach them here. You measure distance, wind, elevation. You breathe, you squeeze. The rifle cracks, not a roar, but a sharp, surgical sound. Recoil drives into your shoulder. A second later, count it, a second and a half, the bullet arrives. An officer drops. Confusion ripples. Men crouch. Orders are shouted. You reload. Slowly, carefully. Again, another shot, another body. Russian artillery fire falters. Guns fall silent. For the first time, command itself is under fire. Enemy soldiers do not know what is happening. There is no visible attacker, no smoke line to aim at. Fear spreads. Officers stop standing upright. They hide. They crawl. Entire sections of trench become unusable. This is not volume fire. This is surgical removal. And then the Russians adapt. They send their own marksmen, counter-snipers, hunters turned soldiers. A duel begins, unseen, unheard. You wait. Minutes stretch. A glint, a movement. You fire. Victory hangs on inches, on breath control, on nerve. If you miss, you die. If you are seen, artillery erases your position. This is the birth of a new kind of warfare, and no one watching fully understands it yet. If you find this kind of forgotten military history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. These stories of precision, sacrifice, and quiet transformation deserve to be remembered, and subscribing helps ensure they are. When the guns finally fall silent, the numbers emerge. Russian artillery effectiveness around Sevastopol drops sharply in sectors covered by Whitworth rifles. British commanders notice something unsettling. A handful of men have altered the battlefield more than entire battalions. The lesson spreads, slowly. Across the Atlantic, American observers take notes. During the Civil War, Whitworth rifles appear again, this time in Confederate hands. At Spotsylvania, at Charleston, Union generals die at distances once thought impossible. By the late 19th century, every major power experiments with scoped rifles. Specialized marksmen, training manuals. The rule has been broken. What they didn't realize yet was how far this idea would go. From trenches to jungles, from deserts to cities. One bullet, one decision, one unseen soldier. Joseph Whitworth does not die famous for snipers. He dies in 1887, known as an engineer, a perfectionist, a man obsessed with measurement. But his rifle lives on. It echoes in the hands of Canadian snipers at Vimy Ridge, in Finnish forests with Simo Häyhä, in modern Overwatch positions half a mile away. To this day, sniper rifles follow Whitworth's logic. Perfect fit, perfect spin, perfect control. They are weapons of patience, of discipline, of terrible responsibility. This story matters now because precision defines modern war. Not mass, not noise, precision. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or country, and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Joseph Whitworth and the first men who carried his rifle into history do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.